Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Coffeecast, where today we thought we would take a kind of a break from our normal hype and hyperbole and actually talk about some of the real world things that have been going on at the Wailuku Coffee Company. Of course, I don't work there, so I had to get an actual person that does. Please welcome one of the owners of the Wailuku Coffee Company, and from what I heard, one of the still the best dishwashers around. It's Megan Conicola.
Hey.
So we do have to talk a little bit about the world as we know it now.
It's true. It's true. That whole saying, the new normal.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it wasn't normal. It was odd. It was terrifying. You know, when COVID first came to Maui, it was March 16th. I don't think I'll ever forget that date. And I think everyone kind of realized it's here, and it literally went from busy March, spring break season.
Yeah.
30,000 tourists a day to nothing.
Nothing.
Overnight.
Yeah.
And luckily, the cafes aren't located in a tourist-driven area like Lahaina or Paia or Kihei. We're really rooted in our local communities. That was key to our survival. And what I've come to find is coffee shops aren't necessarily essential, but they're quintessential.
Okay. How do you explain that?
Like every small town, what is there in every small town?
There's a coffee shop.
There's a little coffee shop, a little bakery, a little deli, something along those lines. And even if it's one stop sign of a town, there's a little eatery.
True.
That is quintessential.
Yeah, and I mean, when you think about Wailuku, you guys are like a landmark. Everybody knows the store. Like if you tell them, hey, it's near the Wailuku Coffee Company, you automatically know that's where it is on Market Street.
Yeah.
And I mean, even for you guys, because heavily trafficked by local traffic.
Yeah.
When Wailuku, the business district of Maui, shut down, that was a ghost town, weird day.
It was a ghost town for about a month or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It was a pure ghost town. Our sales dropped over 90%. And as a business owner, me and my amazing business partner Jackie, we had to come together on March 16th when we knew the closures were going to be announced that day. And we had to make some really hard decisions. We had to pivot, and we had to make these decisions based out of love and not fear. And sometimes that is actually the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
So in that day, we realized if we want to survive this, we have to make some hard decisions. And one of them was changing our hours drastically, which cut labor costs. We had to lay off 20 people, and that was literally one of the hardest days of my life. I was so worried for every single person that I had to make that phone call to. You know what was so amazing is that every single person was like, I understand, and you just stay safe, and we're gonna get through this. And they were so supportive of our business decision. And so that was the first hard thing that we had to do. Cut our hours, cut our labor force, and then even doing those drastic measures, the first few weeks when it was a complete ghost town, we had to make some sacrifices. We had to make some big sacrifices with our personal salaries, of course, the owners, and then it kind of trickled down through the team. Everyone kind of hooeyed together to do whatever they could to help support the cafe and keeping it open. And that was something that I didn't really expect. When you're the vested owner of a place, you'll do anything for it, right? It's your passion, you love it. But when you just work at a place, you just work there, and that's completely understandable.
Right.
So when my team all hooeyed around me, I'm gonna cry talking about it, came around me and supported us through those few weeks in any way that they could. And there's numerous ways that they did, and I don't want to put them on blast because some of them are kind of shy. But from the staff that we laid off that were very loving and kind and supportive, Oh, you okay? Are you gonna cry?
No, it's like I'm getting this weird wind, and so like my contacts are drying out, so I'm sitting here going, I'm not winking at the camera. But no, I do remember you actually crying though, because I can put me and you on blast. The day that the closure happened, we called each other, and I just remember this whole sense of holy, insert bleep here.
Yes.
What the hell is going to happen?
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that everybody worried about, like us, that were on the other side of your business, where we're your advertisers, but we're also the people that go there every day for one of these. And if not, I get really cranky. There was that side, and we were worried. And you guys were just like, to us, how do I say this? A monumental part of our day. Like, we knew all of your staff, we knew everybody's background, we knew most of your staff's parents, wives, kids. I mean, it was so hard, that phone call, because I know, like, in my mind, I'm going, please, Megan, don't panic. But in my mind, crap, Shaggy, what are you going to do? You're panicking.
We both had those moments of panic for sure, and you know what? As much as I talk about my team, I consider you part of my team. You're so important to Wailuku Coffee Company and all that you do for us. And through that time period, it was all the team players in our group, in our ohana of Wailuku Coffee Company, that created a space for us to continue operating, even when like literal dookie hit the fan. I mean, it was like, ah! I mean, actually, it wasn't literal, but because that would be really, really gross.
That would be really gross, and I'm sure there would be a health code violation in there somewhere.
I don't even know why I said that. But anyways.
The thing that I like, as long as you're talking about the ohana, you do have to mention that you've had a lot of generosity on, like, as far as this facility. The land on the landlord, the overseer of this property,
the building owner.
Yes, the building owner was very proactive in helping the businesses here.
Yep.
Yours included, and like, what about the distributors and all of the other people? Like, how did you? Because when we talk extended ohana, I mean, there's so many businesses connected to your Wailuku Coffee Company business.
Well, part of the way that we run our business, and I would recommend this for any business owner, I've found, this is a little piece of business advice. Pay for everything when you get it. COD is the way to be, because then you don't have this big pile of bills laying around. So we've always operated COD. When you bring us a product, we pay you for it. And I had just a couple people that I owed money to then. Like, I had an outstanding plumbing bill, I had a bookkeeping bill, ones that are actually invoiced out. And those people, first thing I did before everything evaporated was make sure everyone was paid. That is super important.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So once everyone was paid, then
nobody could see what happened on camera.
I wish you could see that, folks.
There was a chicken that came in here.
It's quintessential Hawaii.
And do you remember Naomi, the one that was on the last video? She chased the chicken.
I wish we had a video of that we could like clip in here, but
right?
Anyways, that was great. So yeah, I think these are the 5 things that kept us surviving and kept our doors open every single day of this COVID crisis. Would be, first thing we did was we pivoted our business, and we made really hard decisions, but we made them swift, and they were the right decision, luckily. Second thing is that we had spent years cultivating a really strong team around us, and that did not fail us when things got scary. They all came together, and that was like the biggest piece of the pie, I think. We reached out for help, which is probably one of the hardest things for a lot of people to do, me included, and calling you and just being like, help. we gotta come up with some ideas here, because we gotta generate some income, and even just bouncing those back and forth, even though a lot of them didn't come to fruition, knowing that I had someone like you in my corner just kept my energy levels up. So that was really, really integral.
I was personally very, very disappointed that our coffee shooting drone idea never worked. It was really cool. I mean, just like 30 shots a second. It was great. But
I mean,
it's
drones
a
are
little
cool,
aggressive.
you know.
A little aggressive.
We may roll some of these ideas out in the next year, but you'll see.
But no, the thing is too is like your distributors as well. Like when when all this happened, it was like this huge network of people were like, okay, Megan, how are we doing this? Not, well, pay up or get out. You really do have this Ohana kind of everybody comes together feel with your place.
Yeah, and that was always the mission from the beginning, was to create a sense of community, a place of gathering. And when the location became a place where no one could gather because no one could gather, I was kind of this void in this moment of well, what is our purpose? What are we doing? How can we still have an essential reason to be here?
It quite literally was an empty nest syndrome,
Which was scary for a minute, yeah. And then what came together really was the community. All the folks that live in Wailuku and walk the streets of Wailuku, they still, came through and got their coffee or their food and just quick to-go items. And the people that really rallied around restaurants, all restaurants, and were like, eat locally, eat at your local restaurants, order from your local restaurants. That community that came together and understanding how important their business is, that was huge. I mean, sure, we lost all the tourists, but we gained a really strong, tight sense of community. We already had it, but it just went up to whole new levels. And all the times that we've given back to the community through charity work and fundraising, I could feel the reciprocal give when all of a sudden, as a collective whole, restaurants were hurting and community rose to that. And the team rose to that challenge. And I cannot take credit for the fact that we kept our doors open every day. I couldn't have done it without the team. We pared down to a team of, I think there was 12 of us at both locations, at total, all of us. And there were days where I just, when it was overwhelming, I would just cry. I would just cry, and then one of my team members would find me, and they would just give me a hug and some encouragement, and then I just get back up and try again the next day, every day, until all of a sudden it became this new normal that we're living in now, where okay, it's kind of a little bit predictable what to expect. And then as a business planning, we just pivoted to what we now think we can expect. And we worked around that. The other advice I would give anyone who's going through this is avoid the news and go directly to the source. Go directly to SBA.gov or go directly to the IRS website. Go directly to your county website. Don't listen to the news, because they're going to have all this hyperbole, and it's going to be confusing and convoluting, and some of it's just straight up wrong. So when I was trying to understand about the different loan options, people would send me random Yahoo Mail news articles, and I would just bypass that and go directly to IRS and type in the Paycheck Protection Loan Program and see what they had out there, what their guidelines were, instead of reading someone else's interpretation of that. So that's another piece of advice I'd give.
I guess the big thing that you guys did right, and this is a problem with a lot of businesses, not just on Maui or in Hawaii, but just around the country, is when you live in an area with a transient population, like tourists a lot, you have two models of business that you can go to. You can either A, cater 100% to that transient high-dollar tourist traffic, or you can go to B, where you're set up in that community, and if they come, they come. But you guys, you've always been more, way more about cultivating a local kind of consumer, a local kind of supporter over anything else. And when all of this happened, you can tell real quick the businesses that didn't do that. So how do you cultivate so much local business love?
I'd say you just walk the talk. When a local nonprofit comes and asks for help, you help in whatever capacity you can. When someone needs something for fundraising, you help. If someone needs to use your location after hours, you give it to them for a good price. You know, you help your community in any way that you can by feeding them high quality food at an affordable price, by providing a place for them to have an office, you know, by creating a sense of ohana within your team, your staff. So when people walk through the door, they feel that, they feel welcomed, they feel like they're wanted there. And you're right, it's not geared towards the transient people. And you're right, if they come, great, we will welcome them with aloha too. But mostly it's just that sense of community, which has always been the basis of everything me and Jackie have ever done. And when we needed our community, they showed up.
I know you're about to cry. Oh gosh.
Well, thank you.